Good day everybody, and welcome to Uganda and Kampala, and today I'm showing off the new arrival, my first new locomotive for 8 years. But before I go on, I'd just like to shout out to Mark Filcher up there in Fife in Scotland. I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Mark. Mark in the Shed. I'm a subscriber to his channel, and he's just subscribed to me recently and gave me a bit of a shout out to help me along and support me, so thank you very much. And there are many people like that out there on YouTube, so it's very great. I'm very grateful. And Mark tends to run the older items, you know, Lima and the Ringfield powered machinery, and older than that too, so well worth having a look. Mark in the Shed. Okay, to carry on, I bought this at the beginning of the year, like many people I guess, because I wanted a second split head code 37. It's my favourite locomotive because I remember watching them between coming up from Liverpool Street to Cambridge, where I used to train spot between Harlow and Bishop Stortford as a young 11, 12-year-old, and that line was populated with these Class 31s, which couldn't pull the skin off a custard, I can tell you that. Sorry to anybody who's a 31 fan. And 47s occasionally. Plus the oldest stock imaginable elsewhere running on that line, but that's another story. So anyway, I bought this, and she cost me, landed costing Kampala £107. Because I benefit from not having to pay VAT. Sorry about that. As you can see, my old Bachmann split head code is behind there in the background. We'll bring her up for a comparison. I have had a look at both of them. They look very similar, you'd hope. There are a couple of finer details on this one. The major difference being lights, directional lights, which you can switch on and off, and cab lights, etc., which I very rarely use myself. But there are a couple of funny things about it, and of course with my propensity to order faulty goods, she waddles like a duck down the line. I hope it's just misaligned wheels or wheel and not a bent axle or something like that, but I'll show you that in a minute. First of all, a couple of odd things which Bachmann have done, and one of them is a major backward step, and that is the snowplow. If you're into snowplows on your locos, they've redeveloped this one from the previous one, and it's a one-piece unit which fits in, and I've got it here. It's this, much like the Helgen or Helgen setup, and it's hopeless, let me tell you that. I don't know why it's black. Is that prototypical? I thought they were all yellow. But it fits in where the coupler is. Now, on the previous versions, i.e. my old one in the back there, and the aluminium 100 style one, they're three-piece, which means you can fit one here, one here. You can miss out the middle one and put in a tow bar, a tension lock coupling. On this you can't. And the other issue with this is that it gets in the way of all the vacuum pipes. I have put this one on, but it really doesn't fit properly. Now it's got the snowplow on. There is another vacuum pipe right next to it. You can't really see because it's all black. And again, it's knocked out of the way because of the snowplow. The snowplow also looks slightly too big for the locomotive. So that's probably my major grumble about the whole thing. Otherwise, it's a beautiful runner, very smooth, and it really is an eye-opener that I have repaired a lot of my locomotives, and this is new out of the box. And very exciting too, because it's the first time I've opened a loco with that iceberg packaging or whatever they call it. And yeah, apart from the snowplow issue, if you want them on, then you've really got to sacrifice some of your vacuum pipes. Other than that, she's a good looking loco. Great looking loco. Just move around a bit. Very, very similar to the old one. I'll bring up the old one now and you'll see the major difference really is lights and the paint job. I'll bring the old one up. Okay, I've moved the other one out of the TMD, Traction Maintenance Depot, I think. Thank you, Dave. Dave Howarth in Yorkshire there for filling me in on the details. And she's just coming up beside the new loco. Here she comes. I'll just stop there. And you can see, I hope, what I mean about the snow plough. It's in 3 pieces. And it means you can get all this stuff to fit, no problem. Whereas here, the snow plough is in the way, and this is actually loose because I had to unplug where that slots in. The chain here is far more detailed. It's actually a proper minute chain, whereas this is a plastic thing. But you can see the colour difference, I hope, and I think that's probably age. This blue is looking rather old compared to the bright blue of this. Both beautiful locos though. Now if you have the old style snowplows, the 3-part, they do actually fit into this still. The holders are still there. So you could get rid of this new one and put the old ones in. This new one does stop you having the old style on the back where you can have your tension lock. Yeah, it's the only negative thing I think about it. But otherwise they look great. They really do. So my intention is to run these as a double header. Not too sure how successful I'll be at that. Oh, and I have to point this out. Sprung buffers and no sprung buffers on the new one. Toot Bachmann. Okay, I'll just bring up the Transrail loco the other way round, and just to give you an idea of the shape of these locos, because I still think that this mould here is more like this one than my Transrail loco. But let's take a look. Okie doke, so here comes the Transrail loco. All lights blazing. Okay, she's I still think the body is slightly difficult to see from this angle. I'll move the camera slightly. This one just looks a little bit more rounded than the new 37 there and the older version there. Not sure if it shows. Just looks more. Let me move the camera around. Difficult to see in the light, again at the wrong angle. But you know, Bachmann makes some good locos. There's solid locos, and the interesting thing about taking all these locos apart is how the designers have their own way of doing things. So, for example, on these Bachmann locos, the motor actually hangs in a cradle from the roof of the square chassis inside. That's probably not very clear, but on top of the chassis in here there is a metal cage or case, and there is a nylon, I think, plastic bracket, and the motor clips in and hangs down, and then the drive shafts run from either end. On the other 3 company locos I've done, that's Vi, Trains, Hornby and Hellion, they sit on the chassis itself, so the chassis takes the weight. So it's interesting how they come up with different ways of doing things. But I still feel that this loco here, which is the sister loco to the aluminium 100, has a slightly different shape. The body is very slightly different. I could be wrong. It could be just the paint, the optical illusion of the paintwork. It just appears to me to be very slightly different. There, you can see the colour difference there between. I'm not showing off my new colour light signal there, by the way. You can see the difference in colour, and I would suggest that's just age. Yeah. So very nice, very pleased. First loco in 8 years, as I said. And I'll just put it on the track and you'll see my wobble. A bit cheesed off about that, but there you go. Back in a moment. Okay, she's coming around now. Let's see if we can get some wobble. Sure, it's not prototypical. There. Again, going the other way. Okay, just before I go, we'll just watch her, I don't even know her number, 37041. She'll pull out with a short break of Mark 1 coaches, which are in a damn sight better condition than the ones I used to watch going up the line. But also I'd like to say thank you to Susanna at Beringer and District, who, when she got hers back in January or February, when she got her model, she did a little bit of a running session for me and put it online. So thank you very much, Susanna. I really appreciate it. And again, another great layout to get some good ideas. So here's 37041. She'll pull out, and then the large logo 37 that pulled in this train will pull out after her. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope this was of interest. And cheers for now from Uganda.